I have some stuff cooking in the background that is gonna be so much fun. If you guys want to see me reviewing some comic book products that are not comic books themselves, well guys, stay tuned over the next 2 months because I got about like 4 videos lined up so far. It's gonna be a ton of fun. We're gonna be talking about comic book products. And it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be so much fun. I'm really happy that I took the time to reach out to some of these vendors and they got back to me, and I'm just really excited. And I hope you guys are excited for that kind of content on this channel. But guys, let's not waste any more time. We're not here to talk about the future, even though we are here to talk about New Comic Book Day, which is either today, because I'm a little bit late, or it's tomorrow. So let's go ahead and dive into today's video. What is going on, comic book fans? Welcome back to the channel, and yes, it's time for another Wednesday pull list, which is your hype video for New Comic Book Day. I'm gonna get you so pumped and so excited for the books that I'm gonna talk about in today's video, because there are so many amazing comics dropping tomorrow, or maybe it's today on New Comic Book Day, which is Wednesday, February 14th of 2024. Guys, this week was incredible. I had a big ass pull list. I read all the previous issues, and it's just gonna be so much fun talking about these books. So let's not waste any time because there's a lot to go over. Let's go ahead and check out my pull list. Now, as you guys can see, this list right here, it's much larger than the last few weeks. It's pretty enormous. It almost goes to the end of my computer screen, but you guys can't see what those books are right now, so let me go and throw it up on screen right now. There are a total of 24 books on my pull list. It's not the biggest ever, but there were so many books I had to read this week because there was only 3 new #1s. So that means I had to read 21 comics to be caught up on all the books you see on screen. And guys, guess what? I did it. I read all the previous issues to the books you see on screen right now, so any one of these could make the top 3 list. Now, if we break down this list a little bit more, there are 3 new #1s, there are 10 DC books, 4 Marvel, and 10 independent titles. And guys, I can tell you right now, the indies killed it. The indies were so good. But there's also some amazing covers to talk about that are coming out this week. So let's go ahead and skip over the chopping block because there are no books on the chopping block this week and dive right in to my cover lever picks. Overall, this is a pretty light week for cover lever picks. There were 9 total covers, but these 9 covers are really good. So let's go ahead and dive into these covers. And the first one up is the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 42. Now, this is a really cool cover that I've been talking about for a while, ever since the cover art for this book has been released. Now, this is the Thwip variant. It is just super cool. You got the words Thwip in the background, and that's what Spider-Man is standing on. It is just, I don't know, it's different, it's cool, and I really like it. Now, next up is Action Comics issue number 1062 with the cover D variant, which is the Black History Month variant done by Nicholas Draper, and it is just super cool. Featuring Natasha Irons. She's got like this big ass Warhammer. It is super cool. Now, next up is Batman and Robin issue number 6. Now, this is the cover B variant done by Yasmin Putti, and it is awesome. You got Batman and Robin fighting Man-Bat, and they're falling through what looks like a sign, but if you see the B and R, so it's like Batman and Robin on the neon like letters falling with them. So cool. So cool. Now, next up is Batman and Robin issue number 6. And this is the cover F, which is the 1:50 ratio variant done by Nicola. I don't know how to pronounce the last name, so I'm not even going to try. Now, this cover was on my final order cutoff video last week. It's on my list this week because I just freaking love it. I am going to try to score myself a copy of this as long as I can get it around 25 bucks. I'm not going to pay more than 25 bucks, but this cover is so cool. I love just heroes, like, you know, doing normal human things. That's like the coolest thing. We always see them doing hero stuff, but we can see them doing like just normal human things like eating food. I think it's really freaking cool. The next up is Fall of the House of X issue number 2 with the cover A variant done by Pepe Larraz. Now, there is a 1:100 virgin ratio, but for me, I'm just gonna pick up the cover A. It's gorgeous artwork, and I don't need it to be a virgin to enjoy this artwork, so I'm just gonna get the cover A. But if you have the money and you wanna pay for the 1:100, go for it, but not me, not me. Now next up is Fall of the House of X, issue number 2, the variant cover, done by Ben Harvey. I am becoming a gigantic Ben Harvey fan. All of his covers are so fantastic. And this one right here, for Fall of the House of X issue number 2, is really good. Now, there is a version of this, which is a 1 in 50. I am going to keep an eye on that one. If it drops down to around $25 or under, I'm going to jump on it. If not, just the cover, you know, the variant cover, and I'm going to go with that. Now, there are 3 more covers. There is another cover for Fall of the House of X issue number 2. Now, this is an exclusive variant. I'll have links down in the description below where you guys can pick this up, but it's also done by Ben Harvey. Again, I told you guys, I'm becoming a big Ben Harvey fan. Now, this is the version, so there's a trade dress version in a version. I'm showing the version right now. It is just so good. You got Rogue and Gambit, they're like hugging each other. It's so good. Now, next up is probably a controversial book this week, and we're going to speak about it multiple times in today's video, but this is Penthouse Comics issue number 1 with the cover B variant done by none other than Jeff DeCall. Definitely the best cover of all the covers for this. There are about 12, I want to say 12 or 15, somewhere around there. Bunch of different covers, but I'm pumped for this book. I'm really excited, and this cover is just too good. Now, next up is the last cover on our Cover Lover Picks. It is Rebel Moon, House of the Blood Axe, issue number 2, with the black and white variant cover done by Daniel Warren Johnson. I'm just a huge Daniel Warren Johnson fan, so that's why this cover made the list. It is just super cool. I did enjoy Rebel Moon. If you guys haven't watched that Zack Snyder flick on Netflix, check it out. It was pretty good. Wasn't amazing, but it was pretty fun. All right, guys, those are my Cover Lover Picks for this week. Let's go ahead and move over to the next section, which is my new number 1s that you guys just have to be excited about. Now guys, before we dive into this new number 1 that we have to talk about, if you guys are watching this video and you guys are enjoying this video and you guys have not hit that like button just yet, do me a favor and smash that like button. This video is getting more and more views every single week, but the likes are not going up. So guys, help me out, smash that like button, and let's go ahead and check out this new number 1 that you guys just have to be excited about. There are 3 new number 1s on my pull list this week. The first one up is Sinister Sons issue number 1 by Peter J. Tasami. Who is not excited about another story about 2 kids, but this time from villains, who are coming together, they're teaming up, and they're going to do something really cool. I'm pumped for that book, and the artist is really, really cool. I forgot his name right now. I'll put it up on screen so that way you guys can see it. I'm pumped for that book. And the other book is Red Hood the Hill issue number 1, and I don't know the writer on this book. That's why I'm not super excited, but I love the Red Hood. He's such a cool character, and this is going to have art by Sanford Green, and he's amazing. So that's why I'm excited for that, is because it has an amazing artist. But this other book has me intrigued and really excited all at the same time. And I'm talking about Penthouse Comics issue number 1. Now, obviously, Penthouse Comics is from Penthouse. Penthouse is an adult magazine that has nudity. It's filled up with sex. It's a pornographic magazine. And when I was a kid, I'm not ashamed, I collected Penthouse magazine. It was one of the things I did when I was 18 years old, and I could do it because, you know what? You do things that you're not supposed to do when you're a kid, when you turn of age. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. And you know what? Penthouse Comics has not done anything in 30 years in the world of comics. They're bringing this back, and it's going to be an anthology series, and I just want to see what it is. There's some amazing covers for this. Now, if this turns out just to be pure smut, I'm probably not going to continue collecting it. But if this has some really cool stories in it that just have a little bit of sex in it, I'm probably gonna keep collecting it because that sounds really kind of cool. It's different, and you know what? Sometimes different is what we need because we get into that same normal churn of superhero this, superhero that, horror this, horror that. Why not just throw some sex in it? I mean, last week I had that book called Crave, I think it is, and it was a little sexy, and that's what made it different, and it made the top 3 list, and this book right here is the new number 1 that I'm most excited about because it's different, and I want some different things in my life. Now, to talk about who the creators are on this book, I don't know any of them but one. Now, the writers are Jean David Morvan, Steven Desberg, Jean DeFall, and Steve D. Just Steve D. But the artist, Gilliam March, who is freaking amazing. He is such a great artist, and his books tend to be a little bit more risque, so I'm super excited to see him on this book. And then we have Ray, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, and then a guy just named by Jeff, and then Alan, I'm not going to try to pronounce that as well. But we got 4 different stories in this book. They all sound pretty cool. I'm not going to read the synopsis. I've already blabbed on a little bit too much about this book. But again, I'm just excited because this is going to be a different type of comic book on the market for adults. I'm an adult, I'm picking it up, and I'm pretty pumped. Now, the covers that I really like for this issue are the cover A and the cover B. But again, there are lots of covers for this book. I'll make sure I've run through all of them by this point. And I don't know. I'm excited for this book. Guys, let me know down in the comments below if you guys are excited for this book or you're passing because it's a little too risque for you. All right, guys, that is the new #1 that I think you guys have to be excited about. Let's go ahead and dive into the top 3 books that I think you guys have to be picking up this week because the stories are so freaking good. Alright guys, the top 3 books has 2 returning books and 1 new book to the list. And in the number 3 spot, we have The Hunger in the Dusk, issue number 6. Now this is coming from the writer of G. Willow Wilson and has art by none other than Christian Wildgoose. One of the best last names for an artist in the business, in my opinion. It's just such a cool name, Wildgoose. Now this book continues to be one of the best reads every single month when this comes out. If you're not reading it, seriously guys, this is a solid fantasy type book. We got humans, we got orcs, we got the Vanguard, something like that, some bad guys that are like these tall, skinny, like crazy looking beings. And it's just really cool. There's strife between the humans and the orcs, and they've come together and made this treaty, and they're trying to work it out, but it's obviously so tough because the humans and orc have hated each other for so long. And you know what? In the last issue, that treaty might be falling apart. There have been 5 issues of this book so far. The first 4 were really strong stories, bringing the humans and orcs kind of together, and then we have another side story with the 2 leaders of the orcs, or one orc clan, and their love story is so good. But we had this budding love story between a human and an orc, but then that love was really put to the test in issue number 5, and this feels like a classic movie plot point, because you know, there's a big strife, there's a divide, and then they go their separate ways. That means the truce between the humans and the orcs might be falling apart, and it's like, what? And the orc girl is going off on her own. She's a princess too, or like King Orc. What is this human doing? I don't know. It is so good. In the human group that they are together, they're the Last Man Standing, I believe their name. Their group name is called. They're so cool. There's so many cool members in it. I don't know. This is just a really cool book. Oh, and the villains are crazy in this book, and I think there might be more to these villains. They tease that in issue number 5. I don't know. This book is a must-read in my opinion. The pacing, the artwork is incredible by Christian Wildgoose. There's so much goodness in this book. And again, and it feels like we're at a key point in this book right now. I don't know how many issues this book is going to be. I hope it's going to be an ongoing, but it feels like it could be a maxi, like a 12-issue series. I'll try to do the research for that and find the information and put it up on screen right now. But if I don't, I apologize. But guys, it's called Google it. But yeah, this book is so freaking good. The variant covers are okay. There's the cover B, which is okay. The cover C is really good because we have the human and orc together. They're back to back, but looking separate ways. So if you really read into the artwork, you know, you can kind of like know what's going on. The 1 in 25 is just a black and white of the cover A. The 1 in 50 is pretty good. It's the gold version of the cover B. And then there is a design variant, which all the design variants have been pretty good, and that is a 1 in 10. All right, guys, that is the number 3 book that I think you guys have to be reading this book. It is so good. But let's go ahead and move over to what I think is the number 2 book that you guys have to be picking up this week. Guys, the number 2 book is another independent, and this is volume 3 of this title. So there's been 2 other volumes that are 6-issue miniseries, and this is the 3rd volume, which I believe is going to be the final volume of this book. And guys, I'm talking about The Weatherman. Issue number 2 comes out this week, but volume 3 of Weatherman, this story was so good. Issue number 1 was a banger. I don't mean issue number 2. Number 1 was an absolute amazing read, especially if you read volumes 1 and volumes 2. Now, I believe you kind of could dive into this and still really enjoy it because the writer of Jody LaHoppe and the artist of Nathan Fox do such a great job of just sucking you into the story right from the get-go. Would it read better if you had read volumes 1 and volumes 2? Of course it would. Of course it would. And I highly suggest that you go read that book because it is amazing. Now, a very brief, very fast, very quick synopsis of Volume 1 and Volume 2, which I'm going to be honest, I vaguely remember because they came out so long ago, but this is set off like hundreds of years in the future. I believe it's like 24 or 54 or something like that. It's like hundreds of years in the future. And obviously the Earth is seeing better days. And there is a virus that is created and that is dropped that makes like humans turn into like zombie type things, but then they can like form into like these huge disgusting creatures. And there is a character called the Weatherman. Now the Weatherman is an ex-military guy that mind wipes himself. He doesn't want to remember his past anymore, and he thinks that he is a weatherman. But obviously, if they can get him to remember his past, this character could save everyone. That's a very brief, very loose synopsis of this story. But in issue number 1 of Volume 3, we find out the backstory to this character, and it was so good, so traumatic, so just well paced and just like laid out for you in that issue. It was gorgeous, and the art by Nathan Fox is exactly what you see on the screen. He kind of has like a sketch style to it, but it's gorgeous. This is like so good. This issue reminded me how good the Weatherman is. It is so perfectly paced. There's humor in it when it needs humor. There's action when it needs action. There's drama. There's feelings, and you guys know how I love when a comic book gives me the feels. It's just so good. Yeah, excellent book. Freaking excellent. Number 2 in Volume 3. Freaking love it. All right, what is the number 1 book? I don't know. Stick around and let's find out what I think the best book to be picking up this read, because the story is the best. All right, guys, the number 1 book that I think you guys have to be picking up this week because the story is legit the best. It's a Marvel book. A Marvel book on the number 1 spot with 10 DC books, but there was only 4 Marvel. Which Marvel book? Well, I've been talking about this for so long. They have restarted it. This is issue number 2 of Vengeance of the Moon Knight. Issue number 2 drops this week. I read issue number 1 like a couple days ago, and it's still sitting in the back of my brain reminding me how good it was. Now, this is coming from the writer of Jed MacKay and has art by Alessandro, I'm going to say Cappuccino? Definitely not Cappuccino, but Alessandro, your artwork is fantastic. It makes this book sing. It's amazing. I love your style, and it fits Moon Knight just so good. So good. But guys, the story that Jed MacKay is telling in this book is one of the best at Marvel Comics. One of the best. And why it is so good, why it's so good, is because they're not relying solely on Moon Knight to tell the story. No, I've said this since I started reading the Moon Knight series by Jed MacKay, is that Jed MacKay has built up this like little family of characters around Moon Knight and gave them reasons why you should care about these characters, because Moon Knight cared about all of them. There was like single issues where he would focus on one of these characters and like really solidify why you like this character. And in the previous run of this book, Moon Knight dies. Spoiler, but if you are into comics, you obviously know that right now. But in issue number 1 of Vengeance of the Moon Knight, we have the Moon Knight family, and they're still keeping on with the mission that Moon Knight started in issue number 1 of his Moon Knight series, protecting the Travelers of the Night. So good. There are so many good characters. There's so many good elements in this book, and he touched upon each of the characters and what they're feeling, what they're struggling with, the loss of their friend Moon Knight. It is just so well done, so well paced. The artwork by Alessandro is amazing. The feels in this book, because Tigra really loved Moon Knight, even though he was wacky and crazy, and there were 3 personalities that ended up dying when the Moon Knight died, but she loved him, and she's going through so much pain. She's really struggling. And then there's Soldier, and I forgot the vampire girl's name, but she's like the leader now. And then there's the other Moon Knight, the brother of Moon Knight, which Hunter's Moon. Yeah, Hunter's Moon. There's just so many good characters and so many good things happening in this book. You guys gotta pick it up. You gotta pick it up. And if you didn't read the previous run, I'm sure you can probably get caught up in trade and then just really enjoy what Jed MacKay is doing on this book. Enjoy Doctor Strange by Jed MacKay. Enjoy Moon Knight. These are the 2 like best series at Marvel Comics. I was really hoping Jed MacKay's Avengers was gonna be as good as this, because this is like a team book. There's so many good characters. I want to like say the F word, but I'm not going to, because then I have to bleep it out and it's not as cool. But guys, goddamn, This book is so good. That's the #1 book. Now, let's talk about the variant covers before we move on. They're okay. There is the first variant cover done by a guy's name I cannot pronounce. It's pretty good. And then there's the 1997 Marvel variant done by Giuseppe Camicoli. Kind of lame. Then there's the 1 in 25, which has like these nice bright purpley colors, which is pretty good. It's just like one of those books that you really want to turn this way, and I don't love it when covers do that. And then there's the 1 in 100, which is the Virgin variant of the cover A, which is a fantastic cover, but you know what, why pay $100 when you can just pay the cover A? Even though this probably won't go for 100, but maybe it will, like, you know, get popular and people will pay more. Who knows? Who cares? Pick up the cover A, enjoy this book. It's the best. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move over to the next section, which I'm gonna move quickly and fast because there are like 20, like a lot of books, like 20 books that I have to go through in the not top 3, but the books you gotta see. All right, guys, I'm gonna try to move really quick because this section could end up being really long if I get to rambling, and I don't wanna do that to you guys because these videos are turning out to be like 30 minutes long, and who's gonna stick around for 30 minutes listening to me ramble? Because mostly you guys only stick around for 8, so let's go ahead and dive right in. First up, Action Comics issue number 1062. This is the start of the Jason Aaron run, or I should say the previous issue was, and it's okay. The whole world is gonna turn into Bizarro World. A little teaser there for you. It's pretty cool, it's not bad. Pretty good, Jason Aaron. Next up, Batman issue number 143. Now, what I don't like about this is that they're doing that whole Batman release weekly. Every single week, we're getting a Batman book. Why? Why you do that to me? Because now I can't get caught up on the issues because it's coming out every week and I have to wait a week for my books to come in from my comic shop because I pre-order them. Come on, DC, don't do that to me. And I don't like weekly books. Monthly is the way to go. But Batman has been pretty good. Chip Zdarsky, Jorge Jimenez, even though I don't know if Jorge Jimenez is still in the book or not, guys, check out Google or League of Comic Geeks to find out if he is. Next up, Batman and Robin, issue number 6. Really fun book. Just read this book. It's super duper fun. Simon DeMaio on the interiors. So good. And also Joshua Williamson writing the book. It's like a home run. Read the book. Next up, Batman City of Madness, issue number 3. Issue number 1 and 2 were okay. It's a pretty cool story. It's like the Court of Owls, and they released this Batman from the underworld. He's got like tentacle face. It's crazy, it's kooky, but it's pretty good. It's not terrible, it's just okay. It's an okay book. Next up, Blade issue number 8. This book needs to get better. It needs to get better. If it doesn't get better soon, I'm definitely gonna chop it. The last like 4 issues have been okay. You need to be good to stay on this list, guys. You need to be good, and Blade isn't good. But Blade is such a cool character. I want it to be good. Next up, Blood Commandment, issue number 4. Simon Kredinsky. So good. Read this book. This is the final issue of this book. If you want to wait, collect it all in trade. But the artwork is fantastic, and the story is so good. I thought it was going to be about werewolves, but it's actually about vampires. I was wrong, but it's still so good. Next up, The Bloody Dozen, A Tale of the Shrouded College, issue number 3. It's a mouthful, but it's a really fun book. This is Charles Soule doing his whole The Bloody Dozen. It's all connected to the Shrouded College, and it's a story where the Shrouded College will give you powers if you do something for them, but it's always something terrible and really hard to do. And 3 people get sent up into space to go into this prison that is floating around the sun that has vampires in it. And I'm pretty sure they have to kill the vampires, but who cares? It's a really fun book, and you guys should check it out. Guys, next up is Blue Beetle, issue number 6. This is just a must read. One of the best DC books right now. It's so good. It is so good. I think this is going to be an ongoing series too, because it's not ending anytime soon, and it should stay an ongoing series. I just hope they can keep this creative team together. Let me go ahead and click on it. This is going to be a little rambly, but that's fine. It's written by Josh Trillo and has art by Adrian Gutierrez. The art in this book is next level. It is so good. And the story by Josh Trillo is fantastic. It is so good. But yeah. Keep the creative team together and keep this as an ongoing. This is going to be a hell of a book. Next up, The Deviant, issue number 4. James Tynion IV. Murder, Mystery, Santa Claus. It's just a creepy horror book, and it's not the best, but it's really good. I am enjoying it. Next up, Green Lantern, issue number 8. Such a great book. Issue number 7 almost made the top 3 list. This is one of those books that I was reading and I was really enjoying it. We found out how Kilowog died because I didn't know that, and they either rehashed it or they told that story. It was so good. This is written by Jeremy Adams. My buddy over at Chris over at Lost in Comics really loved the Flash Jeremy Adams run, and if it's as good as this, I can tell why, because this is a fantastic Green Lantern story. Now next up, what do we got? Masterpiece, issue number 3. Now this is is another book that almost made the top 3 list. This is Brian Michael Bendis telling an independent story. It is super fun. You got this girl who she didn't know her parents were like super like stealers or thieves, super thieves, and it was so cool. And there's this bad guy that forces her to do a heist, and then she ends up running into some of her old parents' buddies. It is so good. It is done really, really well. This is like Michael Bendis when he was like back over at Marvel Comics when he first started, telling some really cool stories. A lot of fun. Miles Morales, Spider-Man, issue number 16. And again, this is one of those books I'm just continue to collect. The story is okay. It's not amazing. Hobgoblin, Spider-Man, I don't know. I'm collecting it. Next up, The Oddly Pedestrian Life of Christopher Chaos, issue number 7. We kind of finished the first story arc in issue number 6. It was good. I really enjoyed it. It's got monsters in it that are teenagers, and they're dealing with emotions and stuff, but they're monsters. So it's pretty freaking cool. Next up, Outsiders, issue number 4. Super fun book so far. You got Batwing, and you got Batwoman, and you got this the drummer character. They're together. They're outsiders doing like really cool things, but this is written by Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly. And what do I tell you guys? Every time there is a book written by those guys, pick it up because it's really good. Now next up, Red Hood, The Hill, issue number 1. Like I said before when I was talking about the new number 1s, I don't know the writer on this book, but let me go ahead and click on it. I'll tell you who it is. It is Sean Mottenborough. I've never heard of this guy before. I'll put his name up on screen just in case I totally butchered his last name. But again, I am super excited because the art in this book is going to be done by Sanford Green, and that is super exciting. And after that, we have Sinister Sons issue number 1. Let me go ahead and click on this as well because I know this is written by Peter J. DeSami, but I should tell you who the artist is. And it is David LaFonte. And his artwork is fantastic. His artwork on the 1 in 50 is really good. I'll make sure that's the cover that I show you guys right now because it is really good and I cannot wait to read this book. Now next up is Thunderbolts issue number 3. Now issue number 2, I gotta tell you guys, I should say issue number 2. I mumbled or stumbled, whatever. Issue number 2 was okay. It wasn't great. I was really, really hoping that issue number 2 was going to be as good as 1, but they're building, they're bringing more Thunderbolt characters in, so I'm excited. Again, this is also written by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, I believe. There's so many books that they're doing right now. Yes, they're the writers, so I'm obviously going to stick with it because I love those guys as a creative team, and yeah, let's move forward. Next up, Transformers issue number 5. Another book, I know, another book that almost made the top 3 list, but this book, seriously, is so good. Daniel Warren Johnson doing the writing, doing the art, telling a banger of a story. I just like the other books a little bit more. They had a little more oomph to them. This is still like, you know, he's still getting his groove, building up the Autobots, building up the whole world, but it's gonna be incredible. 2 more books, guys. Wesley Dodds, The Sandman, issue number 5. This is just a fun book set back in the 1940s with this Sandman character like really getting under his feet, telling that who he was back then and how he was dealing with strife and all this stuff, and his first really big villain that he's dealing with. It's a lot of fun. It also has art by Riley Rusimo, and I'm a big fan of his. And the final book, a lot of books. Zawa or Zawe, I want to say Zawe, but I want to say I'm pronouncing that wrong. But if I'm not, it's Zawe, The Belly of the Beast, issue number 4. Fantastic book. Another book that could have made the top 3 list on any other week. Michael Delanis doing the story, doing the art. Every single page of this book is gorgeous. Gorgeous. This is a book that you could read with your kids, which is another reason to pick this book up if you have kids, because it's absolutely incredible. There's nothing adult about it, or there's no adult themes, I should say, but it is such a fun story. It's lighthearted. There's a lot of cool things that are happening. It's set off in this crazy, kooky world. It is so good, and the artwork is incredible. All right, guys. That is the number, well, actually, there's no number. That is the final book on the not top 3, but the books you gotta see. Let's go ahead and wrap this video up and find out who won last week's giveaway. Alright guys, we are at the end of today's video. Thank you to everyone who's watched from the beginning of the video all the way to the end, listening to my madness and ranting. But guys, this week was a hell of a week. There are so many great stories coming out. I read all those previous issues, and I gotta tell you guys, so many of them were fantastic. Really get down to a local comic book shop and pick up some of these books. They are so freaking good. Now, if you did watch from the beginning to the end, you guys know what you are. You sly dogs. You guys are legends. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Now, if you guys have not smashed that like button just yet, what are you doing? Smash the like button. Help the channel out. Now, if you guys watched the video and you're not subscribed, again, what are you doing? Get yourself subscribed, hit that bell for notifications, and smash that like button. All right, guys, let's cut up close and find out who won last week's giveaway. All right, guys, you know how we do this. It's simple, it's easy. We go to last week's video. We're gonna go ahead and pause that so you don't have to hear my madness again. We copy and paste the URL in this website right here, and then we hit the fetch comic button. Fetch comic? No, fetch comments button. Comments, I can't speak. And then we go to keyword filters and we use the hashtag I love comic books. And then we hit this continue button. We find out how many people did a comment. And there are 49 of you that left a comment with the hashtag I love comic books. Thank every single one of you. Now, guys, tell your friends, come over, join the community. We have a Discord group down in the comments below if you guys want to join that as well. It's a ton of fun, and we talk about comics every single day. But you guys don't want to hear about that. Let's find out who won last week's giveaway. In 3, 2, 1, it is K Dynamite. Congratulations! And you left the comment Thundercats and XO Man of War. Hashtag I love comic books. Congratulations, K Dynamite, or is it K Dynamite? I can't tell, but congratulations. Now, what I need you to do is go over to our Instagram account and slide into our DMs. Our handle is right here, and give us your address, and I will get your winnings out in the next few weeks. I should say 3 to 4 weeks. I have 2 weeks of winners that I still need to get out the door, so you're gonna be the third one. I'm a little behind. I get like, you know, I fall behind and then I get caught up. So if you guys won over the last few weeks, your books are coming. I'll try to get them out today because I do have a snow day and my kids are like, you know, already knocked on the door so many times as I was recording this video. So maybe I'll package them up today and edit this video tomorrow. But guys, this is the end of the video. Now, congratulations again to K Dynamite, but if you guys are interested in winning next week's giveaway, you gotta do these 4 easy things. 1, live in the United States of America. 2, be subscribed to the channel. 3, leave a comment. And 4, that comment has to have the hashtag I love comic books. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. Like I just mentioned, this video might not come on Tuesday, and if it doesn't, I apologize. My kids are home, it's a snow day, and they need some attention, and I'm a father, and I need to give them that attention. But guys, I will definitely be back on Thursday with my final order caught off speculation and recommendations video, and then I am gonna have a CGC unboxing probably on Friday, so get prepared for that. All right, guys, have yourself a great rest of your week, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.